Hello everyone and welcome to yet another theatre vlog. It's what my entire channel is right now and I'm not complaining. Today I'm going to see a show that is one of my favourite childhood films, so I'm really intrigued as to how they are putting it on stage, and I'm going to see Annie at the Piccadilly Theatre. Now we need to take a nice photo because last time I was stuck with a dark photo of us, so we need to take a nice photo. We're outside the Piccadilly Theatre now. I'm running a bit late and I feel awful, but it's fine. I feel like I'm literally like in the way of all the people walking. I'm intrigued. Just saying about how I don't know how I feel about the digital, what do you call it? Digital sign, marquee, thingy-majig. But I'm intrigued. I think we've got a couple of understudies on tonight. I saw on their West End cover Twitter account a couple of people on for the first time, so that'll be exciting. Yeah, so we're gonna go in now and I'm gonna start breathing again and it's all gonna be good. We are in our seats now. It's a bit loud and there's already sound coming from the stage and I'm a bit confused as to what they're trying to say. Oh, people are standing. People are standing. Anyway, Olivia is editing for Instagram, as always. Trying to keep her theme perfect, which makes me laugh. And yeah, the view is alright. I don't think we're going to miss anything because of the dress circle overhang. I normally don't like sitting this far back when you've got the dress circle overhang in your line of view. It just personally annoys me. Sorry, I went quite dark there. But yeah, intrigued to see what the show is going to be like, and we will hopefully find some time to chat to you about it in the interval, if we have time. Bye. Olivia's really cold and I'm not. I'm fine. Oh, maybe you should go back inside.
I was really cold in there though.
I was like normal. I was neutral.
No, I can like feel the
This is Olivia judging the temperature inside the Piccadilly Theatre. I'm alright. I'm enjoying the show. Are you enjoying the show?
Yeah, I am.
It's not like, I've had a few people come see it and they really didn't enjoy it. And I thought from that, I was like, oh, yeah, is it going to be bad? It's funny because, as I briefly mentioned to you, like, I've done an Amdram production of Annie, like, I think it was in 2012. Yeah. This is the production.
Oh, really?
So, like, because in the film, obviously, they don't have the bit about, like, the Hooverville, I think it's called, and the song there, and their NYC song. And as soon as they started doing, as soon as they started doing that, all the words were just in my head straight away. Talking of all the words being in your head, there are two or three women in front of us. Every song, they are full on. Like, fair enough, you go see your favourite show or whatever, you know it. Like, I love Annie. I grew up watching the film probably like every single day. Like, I know all of the songs, and then from doing that production, I know all of those songs. But they are full on, like every show. Like, can you just reenact like how they're doing it?
I mean, for us, it's just like this.
Yeah, or like proper shoulder movements and like, but like without the actual sound.
There's also a lot of rustling.
Oh, from behind us. The woman has a plastic bag on her, and I gave her such a dirty look.
Yes, every time she rustled, I turned around.
No, but I literally, I full on was like.
She's still doing it though.
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna lean like all the boobs happening, but it's fine. No, I just don't understand how you, like, have a snack before the show, and then you've got what time is it now? An hour? Oh. His phone is doing it.
It's 9:15.
It's 9:15.
Oh, it's short, isn't it? It's only been like 10 minutes.
I just don't understand how you can, like, just not eat during a show. Like, just don't eat during a show. You don't need to.
You're gonna eat, don't have it in a carrier bag.
Literally, every second, like, take stuff out of the carrier bag beforehand. And like, it sounds like they've got sweets that they are then taking out. I hate that I moan so much, but I feel like because we see stuff a lot, stuff like this, like having noise behind you and then the women in front going literally full on reacting to the show in front of us.
People must not know what we're doing because we keep laughing at like not the funny bits because we're laughing at them. We're just like
at them. And
also the dog's really cute.
Oh my god, the dog. I kind of just forgot that was a thing. And sometimes I think when there's an animal in a show, like, are they going to do it? They're going to bother? Because that's a lot to go through. The dog's name is Amber.
I feel bad for it though, because like when she's doing Tomorrow, the dog's the one that everyone's looking at.
Exactly. There was a lot of people laughing during Tomorrow, and I was like, oh, that's really sad, because what if she thinks that people are laughing at her? And I'm sure they must have said to her, like, the dog's going to do stuff, like, don't worry. But she's got such a good voice. I didn't actually pay attention to her name on the cast board, but I filmed a clip of it. She's got a really good voice. I wonder how old she is.
I don't know, did you see her at the Live at London, whatever
What? What, sorry? What?
Live at the Palladium. She sang
No, I've not watched it. So.
I watched it the other day.
You know me, I have to keep like away from everything. But no, I think
I love the choreography though.
Oh my god, yes.
The choreography is really
as soon as in the what was the first?
Not Nice.
Yeah.
That was
full on,
good.
and then when the adult cast came in, I was like, oh my god, this choreography is so fun.
Yeah, love a tap break.
Tap, and I loved the bit in NYC when the sailors and stuff came out. I was like, oh, am I seeing On the Town again? Like,
I was like, when he started tapping on the box, I was like, Newsies?
Yes. Is it who's choreographer? Is it? I want to say, is it Nikolai Foster? Is that a name I'm making up?
No idea.
I might try and look at a program when we go in. Yeah, you know what? People have slated the show. I'm enjoying it so far.
I am enjoying it. Their accents are annoying me a bit.
Yeah, and also I'd heard and obviously saw that interview where Miranda was like, I can't sing. I can't sing. And I was like, that's a bit annoying because it could have gone to someone who can really sing. But the fact that I feel like they've kind of, I don't know,
bluffing her way through it.
Yeah,
It's like talk singing.
And also it's like comedic singing, which is obviously like going to a strong suit.
Like in Easy Street.
The merchandise has got a lot of Easy Street on it, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. So we'll have to go in and have a proper look at it. Yeah, so I kind of enjoy that they've almost like, it sounds bad, but like dumbed down the singing. Yeah. So it's not like she's really having to try and be a proper singer, because she's not, and that's fine. And I think she could be more horrible.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's like really nice. Funny, but like I don't.
She's too nice for Miss Hannigan. So she's not nice in the show. Yeah, I feel like she really.
You kind of dislike her. You don't dislike her.
Yeah,
and they feel the cleaning. It's like
yeah, like I don't hate her. So I feel like
kind of sorry for her instead of hating her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I want to hate her.
In the film, I always remember even when I was a kid, I felt sorry for her towards like in the. What scene was it?
Like I do think you're meant to feel a bit sorry for her,
but sure.
You also should hate her, and I don't hate her at all.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely needs to work on her meanness.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe she will in the second act, maybe that's going to be a turnaround. But for now, I think she's far too nice. And I think I did see a review with the title like Miranda has too much heart on her name. But it is true. I think she needs. Yeah, it's a well good pun, isn't it? I can't remember who that was. It was either I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been The Stage or The Guardian or someone like that. Yeah, well done, journalist.
But it is good.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking I'd probably come back to this.
Yeah, and it's nice as well. There's loads of kids. Like you just know that.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking at one point as well, it's probably the kids that are in Matilda probably graduate like into a show like this because it's kind of like the perfect age.
I'd love it if I was a child to be in it.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Like these kids are probably earning way more money than I am right now and having the time of their life. They're on the West End. And I just sell tickets for people to see them in the show. So that's the reality of my life. Anyway, my arm is kind of hurting now. It's like shaking. So we will maybe chat to you afterwards. Yeah. But so far, so good.
Yeah. See ya.
Good. Yeah. You are tiny, even when I'm like this. How tall are you?
5'2".
Oh.
Same height as Olivia and I.
Oh really? Is she tall?
And Kim Kardashian. Yeah, and Kim Kardashian.
No.
All 5'2". There's a website you can look up what celebrities are.
I think I'm 5'7". Alright. I don't know.
Honestly, if I'm really lame. I've like stood on the sofa before, and I just think it's so weird that some people see the world actually from that height.
Because my boyfriend's like 6'2", I think.
So weird. It's like a whole different world.
He's like here, I think.
It's literally another world.
I don't. They must have been so good at concerts and things like that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Kim Kardashian is that tiny.
I mean, I'm basically her, so you don't need to meet her.
Exactly. I just can't believe. I guess you don't really think of celebrities in terms of height, do you? Anyway, that's literally not the point. We've just left the show. General verdict?
I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it as well. I would happily go back, and I would like to go back when hopefully the audience around us is a bit less weird. Not even, well, there's
only that one really.
Yeah, the girl in front. Honestly, she was a bit entertaining at the same time as annoying. Like, if someone's gonna,
oh my god, when it got to You're Never Fully Dressed, I've never known movement like it.
Literally, it was like it was full on. And I don't think I mentioned in the interval, but she was also like, it wasn't knitting, but it was like crocheting during the show. I can't even. Anyway, that was just a little end verdict of the show, and obviously I'll chat more about it later on. But thanks for joining me.
I'm just distracted by all these little kids. Look at her sparkly outfit.
Oh, that's pretty. Oh, she got dolled up. I'm impressed.
Get me that 4-year-old style.
I don't think she's 4. I think she's got to be like 8 or 9.
I want it.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Enjoyed it. Yes. Anyway, thanks. Bye.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the talkie section of the video. Apologies if the lighting changes quite drastically. I am, relying on the sun. So maybe it will come out tomorrow / today. That was a bad pun. I'm not going to even run with that. But yeah, apologies if the lighting changes. There's not a huge amount that I can do about it. As you would have seen in the rest of this video, I went to see Annie at the Piccadilly Theatre. I went with the lovely Olivia, and it was really nice to catch up with her. I hadn't been too long since we last saw each other, but it's always nice to go to the theatre with your pals. And yeah, I'm really glad that she was able to come along with me. As I briefly mentioned earlier on in the video, Annie is very close to my heart. It was one of my favourite films growing up, and I swear at one point I watched it like every single day as a child. And also I've done an Amjam production of it, as I mentioned. So yeah, it's a really special musical to me. I'd say it's one of the ones that I really loved as a kid, and kind of subconsciously it's one of the things that made me really kind of grow to love musical theatre, even though I didn't truly fall in love with musical theatre and going to the theatre until I was like a late teenager, but that's a story for another time. Annie has only just recently opened in the West End. I think it's probably been open for less than a month at this point, and so that's exciting. I like to go and see things early on in their runs if I can. The girl playing Annie for our show was Lola Moxham, and I hope I'm saying her surname right. It's a really fun surname. I thought she was really good. Her voice was amazing, and I think she had like the mannerisms for Annie down so perfectly. I really enjoyed watching her performance. I'm pretty sure for the most part we did have the principal cast on, apart from Mr. Warbucks, Danny Warbucks, who was played by Russell Wilcox, and that day was actually his debut in the role. He had never done it before, which is always exciting when you go to see a show and you see an understudy but then find out afterwards that it was actually their debut. I have to say, I could kind of tell at points there were a few little lines that he either was a bit late on or had to repeat them slightly, like he started them and then realised that he'd made a mistake and had to like quickly repeat it. So it wasn't as seamless as it would have been had it been the main guy, whose name escapes me right now. But to be honest, I think I only noticed that because I kind of knew that there was an understudy on, and even so, it's just exciting to see someone's first performance, and I don't mind. Like, that's the beauty of live theatre. It's not a carbon copy every single time, you know. Every night it's slightly different, there's different people on, And talking of which, with the cast board, I really liked that they listed that there were the swings that were on, because sometimes they just get like put in with just general ensemble members, but it was quite nice to have them specifically listed as swings, and I think that is quite nice. I think a lot of people will have looked at that and thought, oh, what's a swing, and like looked up a bit more and maybe got a bit more educated on that. Maybe that's just me, but I liked that they were listed on the cast board as such. As I mentioned, I loved the original Annie film a lot, so I am most familiar with that story, but I think it helps that I did that little production of it, because that is the structure of the story that the musical that's now in the West End is based on. This obviously makes a lot of sense because there's some things in the film that they just wouldn't be able to do on stage. For example, like the whole helicopters and the whole like kidnapping scene. Not kidnapping, I guess, sort of abducting. I don't know what the right word is, but you know what I mean. That scene with like the helicopters and stuff. So I quite like how they do it this way, and I also like how it has the, is it Hooverville song, that's about like the homeless people in New York City, and kind of just to give us a bit more context as to what's going on at the time and how the government is behaving. And I just really, I like that song. It gets stuck in my head very easily, and I love the NYC song. That's like one of my favourite songs in the show. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier on in the vlog, as soon as they started it, I was like, oh, it's all coming back to me now, all the words and the choreography that we did and things like that. It made me really happy. It's such a fun song. As much as I love the Let's Go to the Movies song in the film, I think it's an adequate replacement. One thing that I really did enjoy in this show was the choreography, and that is by Nick Winston. I incorrectly said it was Nikolai Foster earlier, but he's the director, so that's why I got the names mixed up. But yeah, the choreography by Nick Winston, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really nice, and it paired really well with the set design by Colin Richmond. I really liked that as well. I think overall, as I mentioned earlier on, I didn't have very high expectations for this show, just because I'd had a few friends go to see it, and also a few friends went to see the tour. It was on a UK tour, I want to say 2015, which I didn't see because people were saying it was quite bad, and I thought, well, I love it, I love like the story of Annie so much that I don't want it to be ruined by seeing a bad production. So I'm glad I've waited to see it now in the West End, where I feel like that maybe there's definitely a lot more money put into it, and I'm just really glad that I waited. Something that I really enjoyed was in like the Warbucks kind of like house mansion, whatever you want to call it, there was like gates that were in the shape of a W, but it was very subtle, and I mean, I picked up on it. I don't know if everyone would have picked up on it because they just looked very nice anyway. And also the desk as well was a W. And I just thought little things like that, well, not little, the gates were quite big, but that just really, I like, yeah, that's a nice little like touch of detail that they could have easily just not had, but I did. I just thought it was really fun. One thing I didn't love about the set was, I don't know what it's called technically. So you have the stage, and then like the bit around the stage. What is the word for that? Do you know the word for that? If you do, let me know. That it was all like jigsaw puzzle pieces, because it kind of just looked exactly like Matilda's set to me. And I actually, when I looked up to see who did the set, I was intrigued as to whether it was just like the same person, but it wasn't. And I just felt like, for me, it looked way too like Matilda's. And I was talking to Olivia about it, and I understand the fact that it's probably trying to put across that message of, obviously Annie, she is missing her parents, she wants to find her parents, they are the missing piece in her life, but I don't know if many people would kind of think that, and if so, it's a little bit random to me. I mean, it does look very cool, but I just think when you're another like child-centric musical in the West End and you're competing with another one, to have a similarity as striking as that, I don't know. I have mixed opinions about that. If you've already seen the show, or if you've seen photos of the set and you know what it looks like and you want to discuss that, I would be intrigued as to other people's opinions on what they think of that whole situation. Quickly jumping back to like the structure and the story, there was one thing that I didn't like, and that was the placement of Together at Last, and it was only because of one line, literally one line, which is kind of silly, but it's the "yesterday was plain awful" line, because in the context of this show they are talking about the fact that obviously so many people have pretended to be Annie's parents, they've lied about being her parents, and they've come and tried to just collect the money and stuff like that. But obviously in the film, Together at Last comes after the fact that she's just been abducted. So there's a lot of weight, like a lot more weight of that in the film rather than the stage show. And I just felt like, as much as it would be weird for them to change that line, I feel like unless you're really thinking about the show, like I do, like I think I overanalyze things a bit too much, I feel like that line, like, yesterday was plain awful, like, how was it? Like, it wasn't, like, she was meeting the, I think, was it the scene she was meeting the president, she was singing with them and then comes back and then, okay, fair enough, she finds out that, like, none of those people are her parents, but I don't know, it didn't sit very well with me. But maybe that's just me. I really enjoyed the casting of this show. I thought everyone did really well, and it kind of goes back to like the thing with the choreography. I really loved that, and they all just did it so well, and it did come together to be a really great production. As you probably would have seen if you are into theatre, Miranda Hart is obviously in the West End production of Annie as Miss Hannigan, and I did see her. This is her West End debut, I believe, and she wasn't as bad as I thought she was going to be. I know that sounds quite harsh, but I read an interview where she said that obviously she's not trained to be a singer or anything like that, so I kind of put my expectations of her quite low, so that anything I would just, hopefully she would exceed those expectations, and I would say she did. I think she was still a bit too nice as Hannigan. I find that in the film you really do kind of, is despise too hard a word? You just don't like Hannigan. You just don't get a nice feeling about her, and I think that Miranda, she could definitely be tougher as Hannigan. Maybe this is something that she'll kind of grow into or get a bit more comfortable with doing so, because it can't be nice to have to even just pretend to be horrible to children, but I feel like I didn't really hate her at all, and that's something that I feel like you probably need to do as Hannigan. You kind of need to be almost like a pantomime villain, getting people to be like a bit roused up about how you're treating the other characters. I feel like at the start of the run for Annie, she was probably trying to really sing in her songs. Obviously as Miss Hannigan you don't have too many songs, but now I feel, I mean, I could be totally wrong, obviously I didn't see the first performances or whatever, as she is not a trained singer, and I can't imagine she is like insanely confident about doing the singing parts. It seemed like she's playing way more on the comedy in the songs and not trying to hit as many of the big notes, but instead focusing more on like the comedy singing aspect, if that makes sense. And I prefer that because I think it's better that she plays to her strengths. Saying that though, she's definitely not the worst singer I've ever seen, so I did end up really enjoying her performance as Hannigan, but as I say, I just wish she'd been a bit meaner. That's all. I hadn't really paid too much attention to the casting before going into the show, so when the character of Rooster, who is Miss Hannigan's brother, first came out on stage, I was really pleasantly shocked and surprised to see that it was Johnny Fiennes, who I think I last saw, I can't remember what I last saw him in, but I saw him in Lift at the Soho Theatre way back in the day, and I remember like falling in love with his performance in that show and knowing how great a performer he is. So when I saw him come out as Rooster, that made my night. I was so thrilled, and it turns out, oh yeah, I was reading up, he did the UK tour of Annie that was on recently, I say recently, in the last couple of years, so that's nice. It seemed like a lot of people from the UK tour have come into the West End cast, which is really nice. I think it's so lovely to see when people have like worked on a show in the initial stages or done a tour of it and then it goes to the West End and they get to go with it. I think that's a really nice transition. Johnny Fiennes, he's just brilliant. He's so good for this role, so that was really nice. Because we were quite far back in the stalls, at first I was like, is my brain just tricking me? And then I checked the cast board and saw that it was him, so that was really awesome. As I think I briefly mentioned at some point, I was really happy about the fact that they actually obviously used a dog for Sandy. I find it quite funny that there's that famous line of never work with children or animals, and in this show they're working with both of them. But Sandy, there was a really cute dog, and that dog's just made me happy. So that was very nice, and a very good, like, it's always scary when you're kind of watching a show that has an animal in, what are they gonna do? They could go rogue, they could do something. Thankfully, Amber, playing Sandy, was very well behaved. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've already been to see Annie at the Piccadilly Theatre, please do let me know your thoughts on the show, because I would love to know what you think about it. If you've enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you'd like to see more of me in the future. I make a lot of theatre content, so if you like theatre, hopefully you'll like my videos. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you very soon. Bye!